Hello, and welcome to my lunch break. Honestly, I'm doing this reading, if I'm being honest, because there's like a funny little autism acceptance video that I wanted to make. I'm an RBT. I work with kids with autism. I am on the spectrum. I'm not officially diagnosed with autism, but I do have ADHD, and honestly, I know that people say that it's like bad to say that everybody is a little bit autistic, but anyway, and it's funny because that's kind of what I wanted the video or the TikTok thingy to be like autism awareness acceptance hack 8.97. I just treat everybody like they're autistic. And it's so funny because I do, honestly, especially since working in this field. And I know RBTs and ABA get a lot of flack, and honestly the reason that I got into the field was because I want to make some big changes in the way that things are already run and whatnot. I don't agree with a lot of the core beliefs behind some of the ABA practices. So I think, how do I change the thing? Be the change, right? But anyway, I wanted to make a funny video about it, but I do honestly, just anytime I see somebody doing something that's weird or disruptive, or whether they're a grown adult coming and screaming at me. When I worked at Gecko, I don't work there anymore, but when I worked at the gas station and I was doing just my gas station job, and people would come in pissed off, all right, that's some big emotions. But how would I treat my client? Because I worked at the gas station after I was an RBT. It doesn't matter why or what or when or how, but anyway, how would I treat my client who was having a tantrum? I personally always acknowledge and validation. I feel like validation is so, especially even because I work with toddlers. My client that I work with right now is 3. I usually work with toddlers or preschools. I don't, you know what I mean? So how would you talk to any child? How would you help any child express themselves when they're having a tantrum? You validate, because if you don't validate what they're feeling, then how are they gonna know to express it that way the next time? So yeah, you're mad. I'm sorry that you're upset. And honestly, at my point, when I am trying to help a person learn how to functionally communicate, because functional communication training is my favorite part of my job, honestly. I just love the progress that happens when you're working with a kid who's and it's so funny because the 6 of Cups came out. This is childhood, whatever. It represents children and stuff like that, but I need some chapstick, y'all. But I don't have any, so. But yeah, I just really love being able to, even the client that I'm working with right now, they've never had ABA services before. They've never had somebody coming in telling them their business and making them do shit the way that they haven't been doing it. And literally one of the very first things I said to this 3-year-old, mind you, 3-year-old, the same thing that I did with my own kid, honestly, because it's the same thing that we should do with everybody. I really feel like everybody deserves to have the patience and whatever. Emperor coming out. I don't know what the Emperor has to do with anything that I'm talking about right now, but I do low-key kind of feel like I'm in my bag, passionately talking about the things I'm passionate about. But anyway, excuse me. I told her, I was I know that you don't know me, I don't know you, and I'm coming in here telling you to do all these things and expecting for you to just change your whole day around. But I also bet it's really, really, really frustrating when you're trying to ask for something or to say something or communicate something and the other person doesn't get what you're saying. And I just want to help you be able to find ways so that you can bridge that gap. We can, right, we can find ways to communicate in our way that we can understand the opposite way. That's my whole thing. Honestly, that's the whole point of life, really. We got the chariot coming out. I'm sorry for chariot coming out. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of how we do. I don't know. I just feel like this is important. It's important because the miscommunication is the thing. It's the number one thing. It's literally the thing. It's the number one thing. The miscommunication is the number one thing. And the inability to move forward after the miscommunication, actually. Honestly, yeah, putting yourself out in the cold after you have that miscommunication, after you step on somebody's toes, after there's the tantrum or the blowout, like, you kind of hold on to that. Or like the person who is like the recipient of the anger, like I got literally punched in the face the other day. My client pushed my coffee off the desk, and honestly it was because she asked me for something very nicely. We've been working on that. We've been working on it. She pointed, she requested, she did sign language, like she'll, you know what I mean? Okay, cool, bet, I gotta get it for you, but you have to stay on this side of the room while I go get it. And she wasn't having that, so she got pissed off and she pushed my coffee and shit off the table. And like, that's fine. I was mad. I literally was like, I might quit my job today on accident. Like, I'm so angry. I'm so upset right now. But like, she's 3, so whatever. So I like, she had to wait. I was like, no, you gotta wait now. Like, you knocked my coffee off the thing. I'm sorry that you're upset. And it's never like, why'd you do that? I hate you. You're horrible. Now the rest of my day and life is ruined because my coffee. And I was up, like, this was my breakfast. Like, I put my okay, I am a salty, crunchy person. I'm my appetite, my food aversion, it's bad right now. It's bad right now. And when my mental health is struggling, it's hard for me to eat food. Let's just be honest. Isn't that what this video is about? Communication. So excuse me. So anyway, I had like my protein powder, like that was like, it was my breakfast, okay? And she knocked it over and I was really upset. But to move on, I made a decision. One, well, I did make a decision. It was my job to make that decision. I've been trained to make that decision. It didn't really feel like I was making a decision because it's something that I've been choosing to do for so long. But long story short, I chose to chill the fuck out about it. Like, and by chill the fuck out about it, let me not say chill the fuck out about it, because I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't want to literally do a backflip into a split and moonwalk out of there. But I was really mad. I'm not lying. I was really upset. But like, my job, I'm not gonna honor that request. Like, you know, we gotta understand the consequences of our actions, and that's kind of what I really love about my job, is like, not being, I don't know, I'm not being harsh about it, but I'm just being for real. You're just gonna keep it one thou wow. If you do this is what happens. And not because I hate you, not because your feelings are invalidated, not because like I'm, not because of anything other than this is what happened, this is what happens next. I think as neurodivergent people, it's easier for us who process our feelings and emotions and social interactions and stuff differently to be able to remove for spiritual terms of it, the egoic side of it, the ego, the shadow side of it, or whatever. And we're even honestly like choosing to heal about it, choosing to move on, like honoring this, letting that exist, but also the duality, appreciating that duality. And I feel like, honestly, with the Star card coming out, like, by doing that, it's pouring into, if you've seen my TikTok about the collective unconscious, but like, it's pouring into that because we're all part of that. So like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like the world would be a lot better if we just assumed everybody was autistic and acted accordingly. Like, obviously, if somebody's like, I don't know, I can't even think of anything, but I'm not saying like let autism be an excuse for people to act a certain way, but I'm saying like autism isn't an excuse to just act a certain way also at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it might be the reason, and when that is the reason, you can't be mad at people who don't know another way to do things. I really feel like patience, young Padawan. I feel like we gotta be patient, devil popping out, because we're choosing to like hold on to those negative feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like honor it, like be pissed off about your coffee. I told her, I said, that was not nice, that hurt my feelings. I'm sorry that you were upset, but that was my coffee, that was my breakfast, and when you do that, it makes me not want to be nice to you for the rest of the day. I tell that to my kid all the time. And that's how you like take responsibility for your triggers too. Like, I am very easily overstimulated. I'm an angry person. My anxiety, my autism, my default reaction, my trauma, my trigger, my whatever, the thing that is embedded into me is anger. I'm just always on edge. I'm always ready. And honestly, I think mostly now that I'm like getting to the point that I am in my spiritual journey, I think I'm just plugged into that part of the collective unconscious, because it is that collective anger that I kind of feed off of, that's helping me achieve my purpose, if that makes sense. I feel like that's the part of the collective conscious, the part of the collective conscious, unconscious, whatever. You know how I feel about that. If you don't, then figure it out. But I'm helping heal that, bringing it to an end, replacing the anger with love and nurturing us to be better. But I tell my kid all the time, like, she never shuts up. She talks a lot and she makes a lot of noises. And one, as somebody who wasn't really able to be a kid as a kid, it took me a really long time to like, I love pigeons, and one just landed over there, and that's so fun for me. But like, it took me a really long time to be like, okay, I have to erase what I think a kid is supposed to be, because that's not correct. So let her exist how she exists. And for a long time, I was letting her exist how she existed, and I was like just wanting to die because she was loud and I was overstimulated and I was reacting and I was like being mean to her and stuff like that about it. And then I was like, damn, I don't want to be mean. So then I just kind of ignored how I was feeling about it. And then after that, I learned, once I went through all of that and experienced how all of that felt, I was like, nah, that don't feel right. I think I'm gonna try something else. Nah, that don't feel right. I think I'm gonna try something else. And you know what? I think that is another thing that people struggle with, is just letting shit go. Yeah, I feel like with this King of Wands, it's like being so like passionate and about it, about like, I don't know, being so passionate about like your happiness, honestly, about feeling good, about what you deserve. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, once you realize, like, once it clicks that you deserve everything that you want, that it's okay to feel good, that you deserve to feel good, that it's natural, it's normal for things to be easy, that things are allowed to, like, you know what I mean? That kind of like, and I know this is cliche and I know that people say this all the time, but like, I mean, I don't know. It's real. It's real. It's all real. You got to change your perspective, is what I'm saying. I bet I sound like a crazy person, but I honestly, at this point, I don't care anymore. But you got to change your perspective. When something happens, you got to happen back. If they're bobbing, you got to weave. If they're ducking, you got to dive. I don't know. Something. Fucking figure it out. But like, don't stop fucking figuring it out. You know what I mean? I don't remember what I was talking about anymore. The Lover's coming out, and this card has been following me around, and so has the Death card. But it's time. It's time to change. It's time to release the fear. It's time to let go of the anger and embrace the love. And you can be both. I promise you can. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging the fact that you're angry for no reason. And honestly, it's never for no reason, because for me, it always goes, I'm mad. And I'm always like, I've gotten to the point now, like, after a lot of time of sitting and being mad, and I had to sit and being mad for so long that I got sick of being mad. And then I was like, okay, so now what do I want to feel? What do I want to do next? Because mad's not fucking doing it for me anymore. And then you go through that, go through that process of transformation, the death and rebirth. You go from the mad to what? Me? Sad. I went from mad to psych ward. So, but that's all part of the process. It's all part of the journey, because I went from psych ward to, honestly, Christ consciousness. But that's just the truth. And I really think another important thing for me, with the Hermit card coming out, it's like that time I spent in solitude was really important for me, because I'm an empath, and I'm just now, as a 30-year-old grown-ass man, just now realizing, like honestly, it was like a couple days ago, I had a thought in my brain, a feeling that I was feeling, that I recognized that was not my own. Like, and it kind of really, not even kind of, it really just changed everything around once I had that, like, conscious realization. And I take on a lot of stuff that's not mine. And I've spent a lot of my life in solitude. Like, I don't even want to talk about how lonely my life has been, because we don't have to talk about it. But with the Tower underneath the deck, And honestly, the tower tattooed on my body, I just really love the tower card. Honestly, I'm gonna get emotional because I just feel like you gotta embrace it. You gotta embrace it. Because if you don't embrace it, then what? If you don't embrace it, the way my mental health is set up, the way my life goes, and this is how I know that it's like, it's not just tarot, it's not just spiritual, it's not just whatever. This is like, I don't know. This is shit my therapist tells me about. This is shit that I've been researching in every religion. I've been doing so many readings and listenings and absorbing and astral traveling and fucking connecting and tuning in and grounding and powering and leveling up. And I'm losing my train of thought now. But like, I never would have been able to recognize my boundaries had I not been in solitude for so long, because I wouldn't have been able to create those boundaries if I was surrounded by other people's influence. Like my my birth chart has said, and since the beginning of time, because it's the same birth chart since the beginning of time, but it always says that like I wasn't gonna like form relationships, like significant relationships, until later in life. And honestly, at the age of 29 is when, not that I started to form significant relationships, but I really started to recognize significant relationships. And if I wasn't able to recognize it, so I didn't feel like I had it. That's a bar. But yeah, I just feel like it helps with my mental health too. Like, I am bipolar 2. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means that I have really low lows, and my mania is hypomania, where like my mania just looks like, instead of sleeping all day, I woke up and took a shower and brushed my teeth, and then maybe I'll hyperfixate. Maybe I might think that I have to like run for the mayor. Maybe I might get married to a bald dark skinned nigga. Who knows what happens in a manic episode? Nobody knows. But accepting things for as they are really helps me not spiral, because I be spiraling real bad. The smallest thing can send me over the edge. And to be able to now be at the point where I immediately address things from neutrality versus that either extreme, honestly. I'm able to be like, okay, this is happening. What is it? What's going on? Let me assess the situation, which I feel like is, yeah, a very autistic thing, whatever, but so the fuck what? So the fuck what? If I don't do it this way, I end up in the psych ward. So, and that's it. The end.